Exclamation, everybody. Welcome to a channel update as we close out 2024 here and go into 2025. It's been over a year since my last one. And there's been some developments mostly off the channel, but with the channel as well. So this is going to be both a health update and a channel update. Since I imagine most of you are more interested in the health update and you know that I love to ramble a lot, I'm going to try to cover that first, and then you can bounce afterwards if you don't care for the rest. But I I'm only going to pick out a few things because there's a lot of stuff. It's never just one thing that goes wrong. It's a series of things. But I will try my best to try to keep it condensed here because there's a lot of like jumping back and forth in time that I would have to do to really truly explain it. But suffice to say, um, I late last year, we're talking November of 2023. I was lying in bed and trying to go to sleep and started experiencing a lot of pain in my back and in my right side, down in my abdomen and around to my back on that side, um, to the point where it was, even if I'd fall asleep, it would wake me up. Um, and uh, at first, I thought it was just kind of like maybe I slept wrong, maybe I pulled a muscle or something. So I didn't really think much of it. But eventually, it went on for several days. And it was, you know, uh, like I could sleep in certain positions and it'd be okay for a little bit, but even if I was in a position that was okay, it would suddenly just start hurting, even though I hadn't moved. It was just a very strange thing going on. And so I decided I needed to go see the doctor over it. And this was, it happened for a few days and then it stopped. Then it happened for a few days and then it stopped. And it was just kind of very baffling to me as to what was going on. Um, but this went on for, through December and then into January of this year. And then that's when I decided I needed to see a doctor. I went and got an initial checkup, got, blood work. Blood work wasn't great, but there wasn't any smoking gun in there, other than my weight, which over the pandemic I had put on about 35 pounds. I was already not a good weight, and the additional 35 pounds was certainly not any doing me any benefits. Um, so in the meantime, I was, doing the best I could to sleep. Um, it did get to a point where I couldn't sleep in bed anymore. I was sleeping on the couch, just because I was able to like sleep on my side and have my back sort of propped against the back of the couch, and that worked for a little bit. But then there was one night in March where no matter what I did, no matter what position I was in, I was just in pain. And it's not just like it was a very sharp pain for like a few seconds and then it would disperse. And then a really sharp pain for a few seconds and then disperse. And then a really sharp pain and then disperse. It was enough to where like I could start to fall asleep and then just get hit again with the pain, even though I hadn't moved at all. And over and over and over again. And this went on. It was like I think around midnight, 1 a.m. or so. I had been trying to sleep for about an hour or two at that point, and it wasn't working. Like every time I just about get to sleep, it would hit me. Um, so I drove myself to the emergency room to try to figure out what the heck was going on. Um, they did they did a CT scan. They checked my blood work, uh, gave me saline, all kinds of things. Nothing was nothing. They couldn't find anything really out of the ordinary, other than fatty liver, which apparently is something pretty common nowadays among Americans. So there wasn't anything. There wasn't any smoking gun. There wasn't any red flag. I did have a follow-up later on where I had a ultrasound done of my abdomen. Again, they didn't find anything. So it was just a complete mystery as to what was going on. Meantime, it was pretty evident from my blood work and everything that I needed to change my lifestyle. I needed to start dieting. I needed exercise. I had hypertension, or I do have hypertension, and I needed to get medicine for that. And they put me on a water pill to try to keep the swelling down on my legs and various things like that. And I am on those now, and have been since March or so. Um, but the fact remained for March, April, and May, I could only sleep in a chair. I spent my entire night sleeping in a chair because that was the only thing that I could do without any pain. Because the pain had become, instead of being every couple days, it had become constant at that point. Um, Meantime, during all this, I did mention to the doctor that I was, even prior to all the pain, my sleep quality was pretty poor. And it had been getting worse and worse over the last decade or so. Very gradually. It was just very gradually coming on where it finally got to a point where, I would, sleep for 8 hours and feel like I hadn't gotten any sleep at all. Like it just felt like there was zero quality in my sleep. Um, and so had a sleep study done, and the results of that were basically I have a pretty severe, I guess they call it severe, moderate to severe sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is essentially you stop breathing for periods of time during the night, to the point where they part of the sleep study is it records your blood oxygen level, and normally, me sitting here right now in front of you, it'll be like 98%, which is very good. Um, they recorded over the night along with other things, and the results that came back said that out of 345 minutes of recording that they analyzed, 111 of those minutes, so about 37% or so, my blood oxygen saturation was below 88%. And it got, in fact, got as low as 55%, which not good, not good. And I was having, I think they clocked my non-breathing activity at like on average of like 30 seconds at a time where I wasn't breathing. So whether or not that was the cause of some of the pain that I was getting, I don't know. But I can tell you this. When I was approved for a CPAP machine, and I received that in early June, right? And at that point, I was still sleeping in the chair. And so the first night I got that, I hooked that up, and I laid down and I just said, all right, we'll see what happens here. We'll see if I have pain or not. And I laid down in bed, and two things happened. One, I slept the entire night without getting up to go to the bathroom, which was something that had become a frequent thing for me, and haven't had to do it since. It's been very infrequent since doing this therapy. And two, there was no pain. I had no pain at all. I slept through the entire night, and I woke up the next morning after about 7 hours of sleep, and my world changed. Like it's one of those things. I've heard a lot of people say this, but you don't actually understand how bad you have it until it reverses itself. I didn't really understand how poor my sleep was until suddenly it was fantastic, like overnight. And uh, in fact, one of the other patients that was in the waiting room with me with the when I went to my pulmonary doctor, um, heard that I was coming in for the first time for CPAP, and he said, "Sir, it's gonna change your life. Trust me." And it's absolutely true. Like I don't feel like a zombie during the day. I'm not um, falling asleep that often. I mean, I still do nap from time to time. I mean, I like me a good nap. You know, what can you say? But it's not like a sudden onset like I was having. Like I was like I could be sitting here reading something and then suddenly an hour later I'm waking up going, oh, well, that was a thing. You know. Um, Thankfully that has all gone away, and I don't feel like I don't feel like the Walking Dead during the day either anymore. My brain is working a little bit better. I'm still not smart, but I'm at least not tired anyway. I'm at least not tired and dumb. I'm still just dumb, but not tired and dumb. Um, so suffice to say, that helped a lot. Having sleep helped a lot. I had started dieting, and in July I got a treadmill here in the house, and I've been using it every day whenever as much as I like, every day at least once a day, unless I am either not feeling well or like, I can feel like a leg strain or something like that. And I'm like, okay, take a break. So I'm not pushing myself. This is something for me. This is going to be a rest of my life thing. So I'm not in any rush to lose weight. I'm not trying to win any records. I'm not trying to run any marathons. I just want to be healthy. And in my thought process, it took me years to get to damage myself. It's probably going to take me years to undamage myself, if that's even entirely possible. And fingers crossed it is. So that's kind of when I'm in this for the long run, most definitely. Um, but as far as the health and as far as the my numbers and my weight loss and stuff, um, I was at my heaviest. I was 367 pounds. I had, as I said, put on 35 pounds over the COVID years. And as of this morning, I was 322. So that's, if I've done my math correctly, 45 pounds I've lost. And my ultimate goal, and this is like multi-year goal, is to eventually get down to 230 pounds. But my goal for 2025 really is to try to lose another 40, which is going to be a struggle. 'Cause that's like three and some pounds, you know, per month roughly. And from the last time, I'd lost a large amount of weight many years ago, and I have some experience from that has told me that the first block of weight that you lose is relatively easy. The next block of weight that you lose is ridiculously hard and ridiculously difficult. So that first 45 pounds, in 5 months kind of melted away. The next 40 is going to be an ordeal, most likely. And that's why I'm saying it's probably going to take me an entire year, if not more than that, to do that. And then, of course, there's even more after that. Ultimately, you want to lose 137 pounds. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm also trying to do it in a way that it's not a shock to my system. I'm doing it slowly, gradually. I'm trying to institute changes in my routine that are sustainable. I am a creature of habit, and if I can get into some good habits, then it'll be a lot easier to keep that going. But the long story short on all of that, beginning of the year, my health was not great. In fact, I was, based on my hemoglobin levels, I was considered pre-diabetic. Not quite diabetic yet, but pre. Um, I can tell you, as of my last blood work, which was last month, I am, and that was back in February. This is now back in November. Um, I am now back down to normal on that. Not quite down to where I was in 2020, which was my last blood work, where it was like 5.2 there. I'm at 5.5 right now, but it's much improved. The graph went like this. And hopefully it continues to improve along the way there. So that is, the long story short is getting better. Things are looking up. We're still not quite sure what's going on with my legs. I have a bunch more scans I need to get done, specialists to see. I suspect I'm not going to get much in the way of actual answers. I have a feeling this is just one of those. This is one of those things where I'm going to kind of get the medical equivalent of "sucks to be you," and I realize that doctors don't mean it that way when they say it, but really, they're going to just evaluate it, say it's not life threatening, say that the cure is worse than the disease, most likely, and say, oh well, you just have to deal with it. I suspect is where we're going to end up with that. That tends to be where a lot of these things end up, because there's no easy answer to what's going on, for what's happening. But thankfully, I was thankfully was able to catch a lot of this stuff before it got any worse than it did. I don't know if the pain that I had been experiencing was due to any of this stuff, due to the weight, due to the the lack of sleep. I have no idea. All I can tell you is that it has not come back, and I feel pretty secure in saying that. I know it's like, don't jinx yourself, but it's I I feel like a change has happened for the better, and I'm hoping that this was just like the warning. This was like my body warning me that you're on the precipice of a cliff. You better do something. And I'm hoping that I've made enough changes, and I'm continuing to make enough changes to sort of right my course a little bit there. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thankfully, though, so far so good as we go into 2025. And I've, as I said, made a bunch of changes. I'm exercising a lot. I am trying to make sure I don't sit here all the time. I do have a standing desk now, and I do try to stand up for periods of time, and I do try to be a little bit more active and move around. So there you have it. There's my health update. Because of some of the health stuff that also kind of, obviously that took a lot of precedence over doing channel things. And also, I was falling behind a lot on the channel as far as rendering videos and all that stuff because of my sleep problems. I would sit here, I'd be ready to go edit something, and I would just pass out. And now that I am able to kind of stay active and stay awake and stuff, I'm hoping to kind of rekindle some of my desire to edit and render and get videos out on the channel for 2025. What we're going to do though, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to try to finally make the change that I've wanted to make for a long time and just have always failed at the last mile. So first of all, we have a bunch of Let's Play series going on, a lot of blind Let's Play series. So I got Satisfactory, I've got Core Keeper, I've got Factory Town, Rivertown Factory, Bad to Bad Apocalypse, and the Hardcore Planet Crafter run. Which, by the way, the Hardcore Planet Crafter run is finished. I have all of it recorded. It's been finished for months. It's just I haven't rendered everything out yet, so I'm still working on all that. Those will, as far as I can tell, those will continue until some endpoint. Core Keeper, I think I will try to get all the way to the end. Satisfactory, I have a feeling I might end up starting over at some point, or maybe doing something a little bit differently. I'm not sure, but stay tuned on that. And I do hope to at some point do another Planet Crafter hardcore run, particularly with the DLC and stuff that they have now and everything. But we'll see. Well, I want to let that rest for a little bit because I have other things I want to do. But as far as it goes with those things, with the traditional blind Let's Plays I like to do, I am going to change it up so that I no longer publish them to the subscriber feed. I'll publish them as public things, but I will uncheck the show and subscriber feed that thing. So that way I'm not spamming your feeds with stuff that by and large no one wants to see based on the viewership numbers. No one really cares much for them. I get far more views on first impressions videos and stuff like that. I still like doing those blind Let's Plays, and I may still continue them, but I have an idea for something else that I think might be a little slightly more interesting. And it's an old idea, but it's one that I'm actually going to try to follow through on now. As far as first impressions videos, I'm going to continue those. I will publish those to the subscriber feed. I'm going to actually go out and try to get some of those recorded now. There's a bunch of things out there that I'd like to do first impression videos on. I may, however, change up how I do it. I am thinking, like I had mentioned, I think probably in the last channel update, that a blind first impression video is a little too difficult for me to do because a lot of times I throw them out. I've done a lot of them on stream, and I will probably continue to do a lot of them on stream, but a lot of those videos I ended up throwing away, or I ended up redoing them on a second day because when you're approaching a game that you've never seen before, there's a lot of things that kind of can throw you off. Like maybe you miss a line of dialogue in a help text that tells you how things are supposed to work, or maybe later on in the demo or whatever, a mechanic that you think is a bug is actually a feature or something to that effect. You know, it's something that they've actually held back till later on or something. And so what I've tried to do is, in a lot of the first impressions cases, I've tried to play through the game for at least an hour or so on my own, and then come back and record the video as, you know, another, as my sort of second pass on it. I'm going to kind of do a variant on that, I think. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a page from my old playbook back when I first started doing YouTube, and I'm going to record the video, and then I'm going to record my commentary afterwards. And I'm going to try to edit around that. So in other words, instead of, you know, I'm basically going to try to come up with a script. And I'm going to watch back the video. I'm going to kind of script my thoughts together a little bit and try to basically show some of the highlights, or highlight some areas of it, or something to that effect. I don't know exactly how it's going to look. I definitely want the videos to be authentic, and I definitely want you to be able to get a good idea about what's going on in the gameplay and the flow. I don't want it to be so highly edited that you still have no idea what the game is like. Like, I do want to play through um, the game and let you be able to watch it and see the moment to moment gameplay, which is one of the things that a lot of these games fail to show you is moment to moment stuff. They'll show you highlights. So I still want to do that, but I'm hoping that I can approach it from a point of understanding like what's coming later in the game, or being able to say, all right, here's what the first 10 minutes look like, and then we'll skip ahead and here's about an hour in, here's another like 10-minute segment of an hour in, so you can kind of see what it looks like when your character's maybe a little bit more powerful or whatever, you have more things unlocked, so on and so forth, whatever the case may be. I definitely want to try to keep it relatively intact, but I also want to make sure that I show, more of the game than what I can do from a blind playthrough, and I can give perhaps more information about a game than I can not knowing what I'm getting into when I first fire it up. So I'm going to try to do that. I may not do it with every video. If I, for instance, I know, if we're going to be doing more Steam Next Fest demo days, those are going to be completely blind as they are right now because there's just too many of them to cover, and I want to make sure I get through as many as I can. So those will still be blind, and there still may be the odd blind one here and there as well, but or I may even do what I was doing, which is play through once and then record live the second playthrough. All those things are still on the table. It's just I'm trying to figure out a workflow where I can start to maybe script some of my dialogue. And the reason I'm doing that is because one of the other things I've wanted to do for a long time, and I've talked about this a lot, is I wanted to do a Let's Play video where I do post commentary, and it's all it's edited to the point where you can get a good gist of the game and stuff. Now, that was a mouthful and very confusing the way I said that, but basically, I've watched over the years a bunch of YouTubers. Cursed Farms, I think, does this a lot. Josh Strife Hayes does this a lot. Several others that I've run across do this. There was one channel I'd never seen before that did it, that just recently did like a 4.5 hour video where they went through the entirety of Graveyard Keeper and all of its DLCs and got all the achievements and everything. It was almost like a challenge run, but it wasn't. It was like, here's just the game, and here's how I went through it, and here's how I did things. And if you've followed the channel long enough, you know that years ago I was going to do something similar with Shadowrun Returns. And in fact, I recorded myself playing through that entire game without any commentary, with the intent of coming back and doing just that, like editing it, having like a script and talking over it, and saying, okay, then I went and talked to this guy, and here's the gist of what he was talking about, and here's the gist of what this person was talking about, and the music is pretty good at this point, and all this stuff. And I ended up just losing interest in doing that, and threw all the footage away, which is good because I do want to revisit Shadowrun Returns, and I do want to see if I can do that again. That's the type of game that as much as I would like to play Shadowrun Returns on stream, there's a lot of text to read, and that I like to read me some text. So that's just, it's a little too daunting. If it had more voice acting in it, it would be a different story, but it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's the other reason why I haven't done like Neverwinter Nights and stuff on stream, because there's a lot of reading. So, but for something like this, where I could record it without any commentary, then come back, edit it lightly, and then, um, you know, come up with a script about what I'm going to talk about, what's going on, and summarize what's happening and everything else, and kind of move along in the game, I think that would be a much more interesting video to watch. Now, it does mean it's going to be a long video, you know, like a multi-hour video. That's not to say I couldn't cut it up into small pieces, but I want to do it as like one big chunk right now, and then we'll see later on if I can figure out a way to like make multiple parts of it and have it still flow well from one part to the other. But I'm currently in the process of recording a playthrough of Arcania. I do intend on also doing the expansion to it, Arcania, The Fall of Satarif. For those of you unaware of these games, they are, I guess they're the official Gothic 4 games, kind of, sort of. But no one who likes the Gothic series considers them Gothic 4 because of their departure from anything that they like. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with the games. It's got you know, it's decent enough, but I can understand the sentiment. So I'm working through that. We'll see how that goes. I've even debated like maybe live streaming myself writing the script for it and going through and doing that. You know, it's kind of like a just chatting sort of stream or something. Just so that if I'm short on time or something, I can kind of kill two birds with one stone kind of thing. We'll see. We'll see. The sky's the limit on that, and I'll see what I can do with that. But my goal for 2025 for that is to try to get 5 videos of this new format done. I'm calling it Library Dive. That will be the name of the series. And it will be just me kind of picking games that I already have in my library and playing through as much of them as I can stomach. So I may not necessarily finish the games. I will try to finish the games. But I will at least play enough of them that I can give a good assessment of what's there and hopefully make something slightly entertaining. I think one of the advantages to having sort of a highly scripted let's play like that is scripted as in the commentary, is that you can definitely play those things in a background tab while you do other things. And you don't have to constantly be looking at your screen, which is one of the things I try to do anyway. Not force people to look at their screen to see what's going on. But in that particular format, if I can do it well enough, it doesn't really matter what's going on the screen. It's almost like a podcast, you know. So we'll see. We'll see. And you know, it's not beyond any realm of possibility that I would do just a podcast format on it, you know, just have an audio upload. But I will stick to audio visual for now. So that's kind of where I'm going with the main channel. The live streams will continue. I'm multi-streaming to both YouTube and to Twitch. My YouTube channel is doing okay. The Memory League Death live streams, where I would like to unlock membership on that channel. We need to get to 500 subscribers, which right now we're at, I think, 168. And we need to get to 1,000 watch hours, which I think we're at 800 and so. 830 maybe watch hours. So in 2025, it would be nice if we could unlock memberships on that channel. I don't expect anything to come of unlocking memberships. I don't expect anybody to actually pluck any money down. But I would like to do it just to do it, more than anything else. And I don't think, certainly we could unlock memberships potentially, on this channel. Um, but that's a harder prospect because there's no live streams, and two, I don't really expect that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to plunk down money for a pre-recorded video. I feel like that's more of there's more excitement around that being on the live space than in the pre-recorded space. But it's not. I mean, it's been done. It's happened. It's just I don't think that's gonna be a thing. And I'm not really, honestly, not in it for the money. I just kind of want to do it just so that I could say that I accomplished something. It's more for the accomplishment than for anything else. Um, also, I am multi-streaming to Moonbeam right now. It's in its alpha. It's very closed off. I haven't been promoting it because you have to have an invite just to be a viewer, which is the dumbest freaking thing in the world. But just for their alpha, that's what they're doing. Hopefully, once they get out of alpha, sooner rather than later, they'll open the platform up and let people come on and just create accounts and be viewers and stuff, because that's just super annoying. I don't understand why they thought that was a good idea. I really don't. Like, I can understand needing an invite to be a streamer on there, but just to be a viewer is kind of asinine right now. But it is what it is. It is what they're doing. It is what they're working on, and I do like the direction and what they're trying to do with the platform. I don't know how successful it's going to be. It's kind of gimmicky, but you kind of need some sort of gimmick to stand out. And as far as gimmicks go, being a glorified Discord probably isn't that bad a gimmick. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm keeping an open mind on all that, and hopefully I'll be able to, hopefully they'll open it up to a point where I can start actually promoting it. Because right now it's just like, there's no point. Like, I can give out invites, but I can only do up to 100 viewers. I have only 100 invites, and it's viewers plus other streamers and other things like that. So we'll say at best 75 invites. And why would I ask anybody to jump through those hoops for a platform that isn't? The whole idea is for you to be able to jump between different streamers and see different streamers. And my invite link would make you a viewer just on my realm, and then you'd have to. I mean, you could still join other realms, but it's like, it's just weird. It feels a little bit icky the way they have it right now. I would rather people just be able to come in and make their own decision. Do they want to join my realm? Do they not want to join my realm? Do they want to join a different realm? It's just like, it's the whole thing is a little bit weird right now. Hopefully they'll get their heads out of their asses and open the platform up sooner rather than later, and just sort of get this thing moving along at a better clip, hopefully. So that's where we're at with that. I'm not going to do too much more in terms of a channel update here. I'm going to kind of keep this relatively short and sweet. This is my second attempt at doing this. My last attempt was over an hour. It was about 90 minutes long, and it was rambly. It was very rambly. But I just I want to get this out tonight, and I just kind of I'm very happy where we're at. I'm very happy for you guys being around. I'm glad that see people drop by for the streams. I am doing coding streams as well on Fridays and Saturdays, usually, if I'm up to it. So I've been doing a little bit of trying to learn game dev in Java. I've also been working on a streamer bot in Java as well. Um, really, it's just an excuse for me to have a just chatting stream, but have one where I actually have something to do. And you know, by all means, drop by and say hi, if you're so inclined. And yeah, just like thank you all so much for hanging around and hanging out and all those things. So I am very excited for 2025. Got I'm hoping I can make some progress on a lot of these goals, and I'm going to do the one thing that I said many years ago I really didn't want to do, but I'm going to start doing it. And that is, I am going to start doing a call to action at the end of my videos. I don't like it. I I hate it, in fact, but god damn it, it works. It just works. I like, as much as I hate it, it works. People do it because it works. So I'm going to try and integrate that with my sign offs from the live streams, and also integrate that with my sign offs on these videos. So I'm going to say, if you enjoy what I do, uh, feel free, please, to leave a like, and if you're so inclined, subscribe. And hopefully, I'll see you in another video.